man.
Hey, you know what? Real quick, let's put in let's call in the wishbone offense, man. A guy he's going to be with us on the other side of the break, man, and a guy we all know
What's up,
very well.
Bellissimo?
He is the man, the myth, the legend himself, DDP, man. Bang himself. Let's bring him out, our boy Phil Atoshin. Phil, what's up, Papa? How are you? Don't worry, we got your intro on the other side of the break. Don't worry, that's not going anywhere.
Give me a tackle or give me death, Kenneth. That is going to be a T-shirt at the Tape Never Lie. You two guys were on the show
when it happened.
When it happened, real time, real emotion. I'm just upset with Kenneth not shouting me out.
Let's go, Jenkins.
That's confirmed from Adam Schefter also.
Give me a tackle or give me death.
It's got to be this.
I can't believe Kenneth didn't shout me out on Under Center podcast with me with that.
I apologize. I've been holding back my shout outs on there as I ingratiate myself over on that side.
No, you are.
I think I did actually mention. I did actually mention Shawn though. I think I mentioned you, Shawn.
You did.
You were coming. You're coming. Yeah, I mentioned you because I was talking about the Charles Leno thing when you sent me the text. Don't worry, you're gonna hear yourself on there, Phil. It's
all good. I know Adam's afraid of me or something. These guys.
You know what? No. Let me not say that.
Yeah.
I have not had the chance to talk to Adam about coming on. It's not that, so I can't even put that on him because he hasn't really been on it. He was on there a couple times, but I was late to come to the show and my internet wasn't working initially because I was thinking they were about to
internet issue. Jesus.
No, the guy came out yesterday. I got a guy
fixed it up.
Cable guy came out. I was in the garage last night. The signal was so strong last week, but yeah, so it's been a situation
all about
that
the upload on the StreamYard thing. Trust me, I've had the same.
I remember you had that issue, dude.
I was calling them. I'm like, I'm paying all this money. What is going on? So they had to stabilize the upload speed because anyway, that's for the blog boys. They can talk about that. We're going to talk about God, I love you two both. Still, I love you. The whole
that it hasn't changed in a week. Thank goodness.
No, the whole dynamic of this, what you guys were talking about, the football first mentality that I've been preaching for years now, against what Kenneth, you eloquently put it, the experimentation of possibility. My father would always say, you can't win with potential. You just don't.
There's an old saying, potential gets you fired.
Exactly. Like you
see Larry marketing about that, Shawn.
All I know is Ryan Pace, patron number 222 on the TTNL network, did what we talked about. Get football players, get a quarterback, trade up, get a quarterback, give me 2 tackles, get rid of Leno. Checked all those boxes. So my scouting report on Ryan Pace has gone up exponentially because he's recognizing football first, then everything. Guys like you and Kenneth, you guys know this game is about what starts up front. It's not cliche. And then just destroying what I, as a white kid from Connecticut that played this game, I always spoke the truth. I'm so sick and tired of my Chicago Bears passing on black quarterbacks, whether it was coincidentally or not. It was the reality of what transpired, and any bigot that sat there and said anything differently and how it affected this community, this country, and the world, really, as Chicago Bears fans, that was put to bed as well. So it just feels right. You know what I'm saying? It just feels right. And I don't think I've ever had a Chicago Bears feeling over 4 days, because the Leno thing was just like,
that's the buttermilk icing on the cake.
Oh my God. I wrote it. We literally went into the studio, me and Cool Kennedy, and had to write a song about it. And we freaking crushed that song too. And him and every troll. I don't know how this guy, the cult of Leno, I call him. Like, the tape don't lie. It's the reality. It's
a good name for a network.
It is, right? No, but you guys know, it's like you're watching this game. Like, you want every play to mean something. This is professional football.
That's good shit right there, Bellissimo. It just feels right.
It just
Oh
feels
yeah,
right.
that is good. That is good.
There you
That
go.
is a nice one. He
Pat
checked
Bennett.
out before I came on. I didn't get to meet Bellissimo, especially how he was coming for me about a month ago. He checked out before I came on Tape Never Lies. I wanted to meet you, all right, from the UK. I was like, he just checked out right before I was coming in there. So you got to have me on there when Bellissimo's on there just so I can meet him.
We're going to have you on. We're going to have a celebration before camp, and I have both shots, so I'm able to travel and go to Chicago. So I really want to like get this together in person with you both, because it's the reality of what it is we're doing. I know Ryan Pace and Nagy, I know, and was confirmed that they listen, they hear what we're saying, and the proof is in the pudding. Now we just got to worry about Nagy and the negativity. He's just got to do what, Shawn, you're saying. It all starts with number 32.
Run the God blessed that ball. Period.
That is the penicillin.
That's it.
For Red Rifle and Justin and that offensive line. You just changed the whole attitude along that offensive line. We had Larry,
some bitches.
We had Larry Borum come on our show on Wednesday, and that kid is cut from the same cloth as Jenkins. So you could see that the Bears scouts really, especially probably with Juan Castillo, because we had our friend Steve Edwards, former Bear, who was coached by Juan, talking about Juan and what his expectations are of his tackles. And they got to be nasty. They got to be athletic. They got to play to the echo of the whistle. These things are the anti-Leno. So he got guys that do that. When you watch the tape, you know how I felt about Jenkins. You both got your eardrums hurt when we selected him. But it was like, wow, they really are going after this to change the identity and the whole culture of this offense, because for years, I mean, years and years, everything's been about the defense and the attitude there, and you've done great with that, but you're always short. Just like me. I'm never going to grow any taller.
You know what I love about it is that they had a good identity, or good with that run game last year. They had a good identity, but they didn't have guys who came out and talked about smashing you in the freaking mouth and bury you in the ground. And that's okay. That's okay, and that's fine. They did a great job, because you don't just gain 1,100 yards in the NFL, especially after not running the ball so much in the first half of the season. Thank you, Coach Nagy. To have him run that to be able to run the ball, you did. You have to do your job, okay, and you have to be nasty and aggressive. And Alex Bars, he's got a little edge, Cody Whitehair.
Yep. James
Daniel. Well, Daniel was hurt, but even so, those guys.
Like I was playing at the beginning of the year.
James Daniels.
So their ability to run the ball. Okay, like I said, they move people. Okay, because we got to the point last year when we saw that Dave Montgomery wasn't breaking tackles in the backfield.
Right.
He didn't have to do that anymore. He's breaking tackles at the second level or the third level oftentimes. So now you get those two bookends who are just going to go along with the culture, but now they're a lot more vocal. They're a lot more, hey, you know what? Let's talk about it. Because when we've all played the game. When you got a guy who talks and backs it up,
yes,
that's the worst kind of guy you want to play against, man. Because in the lesser people and the lesser part, your lesser teammates, if you're on the opposing side, it'll instill fear. It'll instill caution. Like, I'm gonna knock your ass out. And guess what? He comes and knocks your ass out. He says, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna knock. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, now you're playing cautious. Now you're Olaying tackles, okay? Because you don't want to get hit while the running back's running by.
Exactly.
To have somebody who talks the talk and walks the walk. Woo! On this offensive line, we got two of them.
You got two of them.
Man, Ryan Pace, again, I must give you all the credit in the world, my friend. Ryan Pace, props. Because I told you, if I rip you when I think you're making bad moves, I have to be the first person in line. Me and Phil are going to fight for the first person in line to congratulate him because you did a hell of a job this draft.
Listen to this.
Bellissimo got all the sayings down there.
I'm saying, dude, what you?
And I'm coming on.
Listen to this. One other thing. Shane had pointed it out to me this morning. Ryan Pace also played it right. Think about this. Obviously, the stories are coming out for him for Justin Fields. Obviously, he tried to trade up to 8, 9, 10. Then you got your deal done at 11. That's history, right? But think about this. As those offensive tackles dropped into the second round, he went up to get our guy, Jenkins, the guy we wanted, that we would have been okay with, all three of us, at 20. Yep. That was my focus. I was on this show on Friday. You got to get up and get Jenkins. It's in the open of our last show with me and Shawn talking about it.
Yep.
And he did it, right? But here's on top of that, guys. When Ryan Pace went up, 8 of the next 17 picks were offensive tackles.
Yep.
So he played that right. Get the best one, and he did it right. And
you had the best, you gotta give the rest.
Exactly. You did it right. Ryan Pace deserves so much credit for how those 2 pillar pieces that we've talked for years that have been missing since John Tate, you had not had a left tackle. In the last 8 years, Ryan Pace hadn't drafted a tackle, an offensive tackle in the first 5 rounds in 8 years. That's with Phil Emery on top of that. So to finally put your investment where it all starts and getting these 2 animals, I mean, I'm going to break down. Obviously, I broke down Jenkins. I think it has like 18,000 views on our YouTube channel. I'm going to break down Larry Bourne so you could see, as Bellissimo will tell you, how talented that kid is. We actually broke him down live on the draft show. But the reality is you got to be ecstatic where the Chicago Bears have put their draft investment and really have moved on and told everybody and their brother, listen, your stats don't mean anything. The tape does. And we got to get football players in here to change this whole dynamic of our offense. And now it's up to Nagy, who's already came out and said he's going to call the plays and he's going to be the play caller. So it's up to him to really put his ear to the Shawn Sierra, Kenneth Davis, and draft Dr. Phil and really focus on running that football and getting that going. Because I think that person right there, David Montgomery, is going to be, he's elite. So he's a stud. Now you're giving the stud the tools to shut up all these fools. Where's Mr. T? Pity the fool.
Hey, great stuff, man. We gotta take a break. Hey, Ken, awesome stuff, man. You have a good weekend. You doing
you, brother.
You too, man.
Hey,
y'all have
you
a
doing
good one.
anything?
Love you too, bro.
Anything Ronalicious this weekend, or?
A Tuesday is when my 2 weeks after my second shot is Tuesday. So I may see my mother this weekend since it's Mother's Day.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
God bless.
But also, that's probably going to be the only thing right now that sticks out. But after next week, I'm in the streets.
You're in them streets,
huh?
I'm
in the streets. After next week, I'm back in the streets. I got to start getting my workout plan, get some of these this pandemic pounds off of me. I got to bring the sexy all the way back. So that's
don't hurt
that's
him, though. Don't hurt him. Be careful.
I have to, man. I gotta hurt. Gotta hurt the game, man. I gotta hurt. I gotta get my Italian Shawn. I gotta get my Italian Shawn on. All right, I have to. Life is too short. But yeah, you two have a great weekend, Ivan. You too, Bellissimo, all you guys, man. I'll see you guys on the other end, man.
All right, see you on Monday, Papa.
No doubt.
Happy Mother's Day to your wife.
Guys, we gotta take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, more of the Superback and the Draft Dr. Phil and the 2-back set coming up next. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Get out while you can. Don't get a sucker no statue. Give him guts. I told you I wasn't going away. You got your shot. Now give me mine.
Why don't you get the hell out of there?
Shut up, old man. I ain't going nowhere.
shit goes downhill. You would think guys would fucking pick up their game. And
they're not going to have a $39 million cap hit for a guy who's not there.
Yo.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. You know what that intro is. That's what my guy, man, the draft doctor Phil himself. This is a two-back set, and we're talking a little. We're talking a lot of Chicago Bears football right here. And you said you're in the studio. You're in the kitchen. You're in the lab. Cooking. And apparently, here's what you came out with.
Oh, yeah.
Leno is gone. Thank God. Oh God. Leno is gone. Go have Chipotle, Charles. We gotta build the freaking lines. We gotta invest on the offensive line. It all starts up front. You heard my father say it. There's nobody in this world I respect more when it comes to football and offensive line analysis than my dad. And he's like, there's just no way you could win with that guy.
Leno is gone, 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 they moving on.
Block boys think he's agile, but he leans slow with no hand punch. I'm so glad that his time is up. He's only good if your team's up on Tecmo. His wife thinks she ghetto, but she tried to backpedal like Leno on that run play. 72 vacations on Sunday. Speed bumps push over like Hyundai. More loafs on tape than double A. They cut him, I love him. Now 100 crew see me catching feeling. Sick of Leno stealing. I'm just highlight audio and Lionel. I'm dancing on the ceiling.
Leno is gone, 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 Leno is gone. They moving on. Yeah. Bye bye. Blog boys, they cry. Pace finally replaced Leno with Blum and Jenkins. Fuck PFF and they rankings. He wasn't great, he was okay. He let an edge rusher by like Olay, but he was soft like sorbet. He ain't wanna win, all he wanted was Chipotle. Extra meat guacamole. You can find him on the ground from the last play. Couldn't even keep his shoes laced. QB killer with a sad face. He should have been in last place. He was stealing money, no contact. Hope he saved his money from that contract. Now the Leno coach don't know how to act. They cut Leno off the line, no slack. Leno is gone, 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 Leno is gone. They moving on.
You're showing the head coach there, and you're saying we're getting an attitude adjustment on the front offensive line, and we're going to come out and build off with character up there and an attitude. And Charles he doesn't have it.
That clip courtesy of the Tape Never Lies Network. We got to give you that credit, dude. That was awesome. That was hilarious. That was hilarious, and and it's unfortunate.
Enjoy that.
It is fire, that track, but the reason it's fired because it's true. That's the bottom line. It's true, and you know what?
Exactly.
Things are funny because it's true. Things are hilarious because they're true. All right, and that's the truth is the biggest comedic remedy in anything, and he wasn't there. It wasn't in his heart. That's what it was. It wasn't in his heart, because having an attitude is your heart, is your desire, and he didn't have it. And I'm sure he's a nice guy, okay, but you just weren't what we need on the offensive line. I'm happy for him that you're able to make some generational wealth. You got another contract and everything, but the time has changed. Time for you to go has been gone, but you know what? It's here. We got some new talent. We got some guys who are dogs. And one of the things I was saying earlier about the Bulls, okay, was that we don't have guys in practice, okay, who put their foot in your ass like Michael did, or like Kobe did, or like Magic did. Okay, we don't have, and when you got guys like that who push you, the games are easier. We got guys here. Trust me, they're gonna get in the scuffles with Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn because first of all, these guys are gonna want to test these rookies. And second of all, these rookies are gonna have to say, "Hey, rookie, you're a stud. You're gonna be a Hall of Famer, Khalil Mack. But I got mad respect for you. But I'm coming at you." And that's and iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. I think that's those training camps, which really pisses me off. Why they're not in Bourbonnais again? And I know a lot of teams are doing it, but imagine if this
oh my God,
draft class was at Bourbonnais, and we get to go down there and watch it. Because at one point I wouldn't even worry about the one-on-ones with the running backs and the linebackers. Give me inside zone. I'll be in that end zone, okay, on that hill, watching the one-on-ones, watching the O-line. That's what I would like to see. And now, there's only going to be a limited amount of fans up at Hallis Hall who are going to be able to see that because that would be to me that's the season. Yeah. That's going to tell me how the season's going, how it's going to go. So you know what? It's unfortunate, but the fact of the matter is we got finally got two dogs to add to that line, the bookends. And David Montgomery's probably can't even sleep. He's probably just wishing the season could start today. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
So give me your thoughts, man, on the rest of the draft. Because last time we spoke, we only had Justin Fields. But we love the two tackles. Let's go a little deeper than the two tackles. Okay, let's go deeper than the two tackles because we know that those dudes are those are maulers. Those are bulldozers. Okay, those are bulldozers. And we understand if Matt Nagy uses them right and lets them bulldoze people and runs the ball, it's going to be easy. But talk to me about the guys after that. Talk to me about the running back, Khalil Herbert. Talk to me about Newsome. Talk to me about Graham Jr. Well, how did you like those picks to fill out? And then Mr. Tonga himself. How'd you like those picks to round out the draft?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say this. That was a lot of fun to do that. Cool Kennedy producing the song and really going in the studio 24 hours trying to get that done for the show. And then really having that moment with you and Kenneth when they selected Jenkins. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. Obviously, the quote, "Give me a tackle or give me death," will follow. We're going to make a T-shirt of that. And, you were a part of that. You're somebody I consider, these shows, technology, all of that brought us together. But now you're like a brother. So to have that moment, especially when me and you are so adamant about an attitude adjustment and have it happen with us there, the excitement for what is about to take place for this football team, you and I know. I think maybe the average fan doesn't quite understand how important that tackle position is, but it was I just want to thank you for coming on that and being a part of the draft coverage and being that moment with me. That being said,
it was fun as all hell, dude.
It was. That being said, after Fields and Jenkins, everything else was just gravy because you just did what it is you needed to do. Now you got Borum. Obviously, the running back really excites me. Khalil is somebody, Shane called him a muscle hamster. I think as a perfect comment to him. He's somebody who reminds me of Dave Meggett when he was coming out of Towson State. And he just is bulked up, small, and has an instinct and feel. He could return punts. He catches the football. He can return kicks. He's somebody I really think is going to be somebody you want to watch in camp. I don't want this type of football player to go unnoticed because I'm so high on, obviously, David Montgomery, but Tariq Cohen. We used to call him East-West Reek because he always is running East-West. He's never going North-South. And coming off an injury, this is the perfect kind of competition and protection. You're protecting yourself against, an injury or anything with Tariq Cohen. So this kid is somebody that's really exciting. The corner from Oregon, that kid is underrated. And when you're looking at Buster Screen, who I really love, Buster Screen, and he had a lot of concussions because he played the game tough. I'll give it up to him. But as you look at that nickel spot, Duke Shelley came in there, made some plays. How are they going to handle that nickel corner spot? Here's a kid that's hungry and he has instincts for the football. So he's somebody I really am excited about after watching his tape. Obviously, Shawn, I'm taking this weekend for family and taking a break from all the breakdowns and everything like that. We let our patrons know that this weekend we're going to shut it down. But next week, we're going to get hot into all the tape breakdowns of these draft choices first and foremost. The other kid, Daz Newsome, I'm telling you right now, I was a slot receiver. So I take a lot of pride in studying the tape, what it's going to take for that. Here's a kid that really is underrated now. People are all over the charts in regards to his 40 time, but the guy I talked to is an agent. He was at his pro day. He had his time, 4.38, Phil, legit. I trust this guy and his football acumen. So you're adding another 4.3 type athlete for what? Instead of doing replacements, Shawn, we're actually doing competition, something you and I talked to. Now, Anthony Miller, obviously there was smoke in regards to him being traded. Now I think you keep him here. You put Daz right under his ass, and you start seeing these players play to the potential they are. And don't discount the energy and the aura that Justin Fields is going to bring to this football team with the expectation of all these guys put on notice. There's a reason why Eddie Jackson tweets out. I mean, he tweeted out. There was no like subtlety or kind of side comment. We finally got a quarterback.
A real quarterback.
Real quarterback. So when Eddie's saying that, it's coming from the offensive side. You know, that's Allen Robinson talking to him. That's Anthony Miller and company talking to him. Now Justin Fields brings that level. Everybody's competition is going to go up. Daz Newsome on tape. The stem of the route, Shawn, is my critical, and I'll break it down for you fans. I'll show you stem footwork. How do you attack the stem? Because that's the creator of separation. This kid is absolutely outstanding at the stem. So that's going to give his speed and quickness the opportunity for him to compete, to get open. He also punt returns. Mm-hmm. So there's that position again. Is he going to be a kick returner? I love his twitchiness. He's somebody who really you got to get excited about. So there's three guys on top. And then the guy that I really wanted, obviously, was Jenkins. The other Phil favorite in this draft was the 7th round pick, Tunga. I always have like 5 or 6 my guys. The USC safety, Hufanga was one of them. Tunga, the nose tackle from BYU. I'm telling you right now, Shawn, I know he's an older prospect, and he might have some red flags based on some sort of injury or something, but his tape, his athleticism for his size is somebody that's going to go in there and be the perfect backup to Eddie Goldman, he was somebody we didn't have. It's like getting a free agent in free agency coming back. So you get Eddie Goldman back on that D line, and then you get somebody like this in the 7th round, who I had a 3rd round grade on. That right there is quality. It's a quality signing at a position that obviously you're investing in the offense to top half of the draft. And here you go. You get a nose man in a 3-4 scheme where John Jenkins went to the Miami Dolphins. Now you got this dude coming in. I mean, come on.
Here's why it strengthens 2 positions. Okay, because now you're really fortified because you had Eddie Goldman coming back, which was going to strengthen the position again. Okay, but you solidified it because now you can rotate him and Tonga. Okay,
exactly.
But it strengthens the defensive end position because now you can put Bilal Nichols back out there where he was extremely productive in 2018. He was extremely productive in 2018, and he was coming into his own. He was going to be a monster, but then he had to move inside last year because Eddie Goldman sat out to COVID due to COVID. So you weaken that defensive end spot. the depth at that particular spot in last year. You weakened that. The nose tackle position was weakened. So now these guys are going back to their original positions. And then you still have some guy named Akeem something or other who's made a Pro Bowl or two. Okay, and now so he's there back at his position. And if if people don't think that these guys are jacked up because of the Justin Fields drafting, you're freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they see Tonga, and I don't mean to be stereotypical. Okay, but when we see Pacific Islanders, those guys are tough.
Oh,
those guys are strong, because I wouldn't doubt if this dude benches like 600 pounds and squats 850. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay,
Dude,
because
I think his number of 225 was 36 reps. So
Jesus.
yeah,
I get 225 10 times. I did that a couple weeks ago 10 times. I was like, on the 10th one, I'm like, I don't have a spot. I better get this. So he did 36 times, dude. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I don't quote me on that number. I believe that was the number that my buddy texted me. Barlissimo probably could throw it, or Alex in the chat to verify that. But that was the number I believe. But the reality is, on tape, he's more athletic than you.
Yeah,
he's a pass rusher sometimes. Like, he's got pass rush. You just think of a nose man, and you're not off. My father has always said, you get a Samoan in there, you know that you're getting someone who's tough. That he's always said that, and I played with a couple, and it's not really a lie. Just like you said, it's the truth. Just like the song, there's funny in it, but the reality was that's the tape. Tonga, his tape gets you excited, and that's in the 7th round. I was hoping we'd get him too, so that I had another one of those moments as we were covering it live, where I had the big yeah yell, because Ryan Pace knocked it out of the park there. I mean, talk about hitting home runs. He was like pitching a no-hitter in the World Series. That's how excited this draft is. Who was the other draft? Why am I escaping? So we got the corner. Go ahead.
That was it. I think it was the corner. We got the 2 tackles. We got the running back. We got the wide receiver. We got I think we got them all. Let me double check here. I'll tell you.
I thought I was missing somebody here.
No, we got Justin Fields, Jenkins, Borens, Herbert, Khalil Herbert, Ozzie Newsome, Thomas Graham, and Tonga. We got them all.
Ozzie Newsome. Daz Newsome.
Did I say Ozzie?
Yeah. 35. I wish we had Ozzie too.
Oh, man. Tell me about it.
35 reps he did at 225. Same thing. The reality is that guy's he's going to be a stalwart along the nose guard position, where, again, you're going to have some guys that have come back. I know they really like the kid from, what was he, Eastern Illinois, the kid that was on their practice squad last year. But this guy's coming in. I mean, on tape, again, I'll break him down with Barlissimo. We had done him before, but we want to do him again next week.
Tonga, you're talking?
Yeah, Tonga. Okay. We're going to break him down just so you could see just how he's not the stereotypical squatty body nose man. He has athletic and a nose for the football that you honestly don't teach. That's like, you have to play the game a lot in order to understand how to have that feel for where the play's going. He's got that. And he's an older prospect, but I'm okay with 24-year-old nose guard at 345 pounds, 6'4" or 6'3" and change, and moving like that. That, to me, to get that in the 7th round is an absolute steal. And you got great football. Every one of these guys is a football player.
They're not a project. They're not an athlete. They're football players who are athletic. They're not athletes playing football. Exactly. That's a huge difference. Again, I cannot, you cannot, it seems like, cannot stop congratulating Ryan Pace for a freaking amazing draft this year. I told you, I text my boy Mark Sadowski, the director.
Yeah, what did he say? What did he say?
He didn't text me back. I'm like, he's probably like, I heard you talking all that shit, and now you want to kiss our ass, huh? I can only imagine.
Hey, at least you're listening to us. That's all. That's it, Mark.
They
deserve their lap, but the reality is, just like you said, 100% agree with Shawn Sierra. I'm not in this to criticize anybody. I criticize what I see and what I've recognize historically. When you change or you fixed, as the human condition is, you learn from your mistakes and you admit that, then I am all good with you. It's when you continue to do that stuff and project these players like Leonard Floyd and Kevin White. You projected these guys based on potential. Start drafting football players, and you did that. So you deserve Shawn Sierra's praise and everybody down the line, including myself, praising you, because now you got, like I said, you got the tools or the paints to actually paint or build whatever it is you're building. Now you can't F it up now. Now you got to go to camp with a plan. And one other thing that you said that I think the Bears organization needs to listen to us on this. Shawn Sierra is not wrong. You need to rethink this Bourbonnais thing, because you aren't getting any advantage in practicing behind closed doors. You have an opportunity to do that all season long, practice behind closed doors. There's something to be said about being able to practice in front of fans all over the world. There's no, if a scout wanted to come in from the Packers to see you, they could have done it every year. Same, you could go over there. It's so important to reach your fan base, practice with them, and allow them to
with them.
Exactly. Allow them that interaction, because they're the ones that are paying, and they're the ones that love you, and they're the only reason why there is an NFL. So I think it's a huge Ted Phillips-like mistake to say, hey, we built this $3 billion facility, let's use it now, and not let a limited amount of, no, let everybody come see your $1 billion facility, because guess what? They paid for it. They paid for it. Not
Dude,
you.
how packed would Bourbonnais be this year?
Oh,
how
my
packed
God.
would Bourbonnais be this year? Oh,
You're missing
man.
an opportunity.
And
you don't talk about it. Don't talk about how much you love the fans. Be about it. Open it back up. It's okay, just like you did with the draft. Admit your mistake. But give the fans the opportunity, as Shawn said, to interact with you. Let Greg Bragg's film guy in pads and shorts, and you're worried about them filming. Come on.
Yeah.
The freaking New England Patriots have won how many Super Bowls? They stream their practice for the whole world to see, because they recognize this is just practice. We're going to run a double pass here. We'll probably never, ever run it in the season. Allow your fans that opportunity to capture the moments. It's so imperative. There's nothing a little kid or a young teenager can remember more. I still remember, Shawn, being at the Jets practice and Freeman McNeil taking my hand and bringing me on the football. I'll never forget that for as long as I live.
You talk about building, and see, and this is why it's stupid, and I'll say it's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
because what you're doing is you're cultivating the fans for the future. Okay, because what you just said, as a kid, Freeman McNeil brings you on the field. Okay, imagine how many guys, they give them gloves, they give them shoes, they give them sweaty ass bandanas, they give them anything. And how happy are the freaking kids? They're like, oh my God! They're like, it's a sweaty fucking headband. Like, where they got that from? You know what I mean? What you're doing is you're cultivating, and now they're gonna want to go every year. Now they're mommy, I want a jersey. Mommy, I want a jersey. I want his jersey. I want that jersey. When you have the interaction with people, yeah, you're still gonna want jersey because you see him over there. But when you see him, when they're right there, and you're a little kid, and you see a guy who's 6'7", you're like, holy cow! I was like that when I saw Julius Peppers. I was like, oh damn, dude. But you're a little kid. It cultivates you're planting the seeds for the Bears fans of the future in a personal, not just because my dad was, not because everyone in my family is, and I watch him on TV all the time, and because he talked to me, because he touched me. He said, hey, how you doing, kid? What's going on? He brought me on the field. This is where you're missing the boat.
Exactly.
Because Bear fans are so passionate. And if you do that to my kid, if you did that to your kid, how much bigger of a Bear fan would you be? If Justin Fields goes over and says to your twins, hey, what's up, guys? Here, let me give you one glove and you go, one you, one shoe. Come on, man. They're missing the boat here.
It's priceless.
Yeah.
It's priceless. Yeah. You're missing those priceless opportunities. I know there's these old heads that go in there and they bring all this autograph
paraphernalia.
All that. There is that. But the reality, what you're talking about, outweighs that exponentially.
What they did, they put a kid zone. So from the fence, there's like a 3 feet fence. Only kids can be there, and the adults are about it.
Can go right there. That's brilliant.
Yep.
And because
brilliant,
that is the reality of what I mean. It just shapes your whole foundation when you're able to meet. Like I look back on my life. I had a father that was amazing. I'm lucky, but not everybody has that. I was able to meet Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson and Barry Sanders at Walter Camp in New Haven. So I met all these stars. So it never was bigger than me. I just became accustomed to it. But if I had ever met Walter Payton, my idol, like I can't even fathom the thought of that as a young kid. It's just like, don't be greedy. Go back to Bourbonnais, give Alex Acevedo and everybody else their shot to be a part of something bigger than they believe they are. And that's really, as great as this is, when I was listening to you, that really struck a chord with me, because I think you're 100% right. Because if you go and start being that corporate world and limit people, and only the freaking corporate heads that have invested, Hyundai, Cadillac, and these corporations, they get their families in. That's that bullshit. I'm sorry. That's that bullshit that you're trying to. That's like drafting Justin Fields and taking him away. Don't do that. Open it up. You're 100%. There would be the most Bears fans in the history of training camp at Bourbonnais because of Justin Fields. No doubt about it. Even coming off when we won the North that year and we beat the Packers to win and we lost with the double doink, there was so much excitement in the 100th year. It would be bigger than that, because this is bigger than that. Yeah.
How much money are you losing by not selling Justin Fields jerseys right there at Bourbonnais?
God.
You're going to sell a lot. You're going to sell a lot. But if you had all the Justin Fields jerseys at Bourbonnais, come on, man.
My God. Come on,
I mean, you talk about a stream of revenue that you're just giving up. You know,
I can hear John Gruden in my head. Man, what are we doing, man? We got to get out there, man.
Female jerseys, men jerseys, kid jerseys. You know what I mean?
God.
Because of what you have. I'm gonna text Mark, man. Be like, dude, holler at your boys.
Holler at your boys.
Get them back in Bourbonnais.
Special announcement. You know, that would be all over the news. The Bears are back, baby. The Bears are back in every way. We're going to Bourbonnais. We can write that rhyme. We're back in every way.
Hey.
We're going to Bourbonnais. Just allow that to happen. Or at the very least, we're letting all the fans in at Hallis Hall. Don't. It's so big. It's so hyped, right? They hype it up all the time. No, I don't even know what it looks like because it's so secretive. Look at these fans in here.
Read this, Phil.
I need my glasses.
Oh, okay. I'll read it for you.
Read it for
me. I walked into the Blitz locker room back in the USFL days, and when I walked in the locker room, Walter Payton was sitting at a table, just me and Walter in that locker room, and he asked me to get him a cup of Gatorade. You know, memories like that, you're never ever. You know,
that's my boy kid. Armando
Lara. He was my guard when I played for the Chargers. He was my number 55.
You know Armando?
I do. He's one of my best friends.
Oh my God, that's my dude. I love that dude.
Well, he told
me that story.
Yeah, he came over. He came over because you're on my show. He's like, well, and I told him, you got to listen to Phil. So he came over. He's one of the guys.
See, another brother brought to me by you, bro.
Dude,
I can't wait to get together with you and come out to Chicago and do a live show. You think the fans are gonna go nuts or what? I mean,
dude, they're gonna go crazy. I got the perfect venue, my boy. We could do it at Output, and dude, that'll pack the place.
I can't wait, man. I've never seen anything like this between our networks, the compassion and the brotherhood, sharing the work and promoting each other. That's what it's about. That's why I think the Bears got to come just like that. Follow the lead of what we're doing. There's plenty of space for everybody, Ted. If you're truly the president, if you're truly the CEO of the Bears, I really believe You either go to Bourbonnais and make that announcement and allow these fans a glimpse of this franchise quarterback. We haven't even had this is the best quarterback we've ever drafted, ever. I don't give a shit who tells you what. He's better than McMahon. In fact, how funny is it? How ironic is it that McMahon took those shots at the Bears and they went out and took the best quarterback they've ever had over you, Jim? How ironic is that? Right? It's crazy. That's karma. That's unbelievable. I everybody knows, and I'll say this again. I'll say it on your show. I'm never going to change my rankings ever. That's not how I do. I don't rewrite history. I had Mac Jones. I would have taken probably Mac Jones, but I would have missed the social response that this is to the city of Chicago and every Bears fan that isn't a bigot. That is my truth. This is bigger than football. To have this kid who has the presence of a Russell Wilson. He's the only one I could think of. That iconic energy. Like, he's not a showcase of like cockiness. He doesn't showcase confidence. He doesn't showcase overjoyed. He's just present. And he's all about winning. And
what did he say the other day? I'm tired of talking. It's time to go to work. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I said hi, didn't I? Shawn. I said hi. I'm here, and I got to get back to work. Okay? What the hell you want me to say?
That is an icon right there. This kid has been the number one quarterback prospect in all of football for his whole life. And he's carried that torch. And he's always been in the shadow. And then to have those other quarterbacks go in front of him.
Oh, and he's just pissed.
Oh, that's just.
And we got motivation. We faced 3 teams that passed them this year.
It's so amazing.
If you didn't see, I posted on Facebook here on my personal page. I posted the Elite 11, the Nike camp, where it was him and Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, check it out because Trent Dilfer was quarterback. Yeah, and they were talking, and they did a good job of editing it because he was the number 1 quarterback, and then Trevor Lawrence was number 2. And he beat him in the first time in a 7-on-7, and then so they're like, okay, can Trevor Lawrence, get the number 1 rating by beating him the second time, and they're just going at it, and Trent Dilfer's talking. They dap it up beforehand. Yeah, it's dope.
I had the Netflix. They had the QB1. I forget that documentary, and they're only holding one. I had it on my Netflix. I've watched them all. I remember Justin Fields in that Netflix, and they took it off. Netflix is dropping the ball. You got to have all your seasons. They only have 1 season. It's your documentary. Yeah. Have them all on there. You're missing the boat on that because Bears fans would be watching that shit. It was a great showcase of who Justin Fields is as he grew up with that pressure. I remember watching. Now they had the kid from Oklahoma. What's his name? Dantzler. Oh, man. The quarterback at Oklahoma. He's the number 1 prospect.
Oh, coming for next year?
Coming next year. His story is there. You had Tate. He was at Ohio State. Tate Marins. He ended up going to Miami, but he's faltered out. You could just tell he was so arrogant. Like he was that arrogant. Tate was Morins, I believe his last name was, but you could just see how this Justin Fields was as a young man. He's the same way, Shawn.
Yeah.
And I knew he was going to be successful. So I'm excited, man. The Chicago Bears got he was technically my number 2 quarterback because I had Fields and Mac Jones 1A and 1B with Lawrence and Mac Jones 1A and B and Justin Fields number 3. But listen, I can't ever go back, rewrite history. This is a historic moment for the Chicago Bears and all of us fans, all of us, really. I can't wait to watch it, and I hope they do what we talked about today. Bring the band back.
Bring it back to Bourbonnais and run the God Bless the Ball. Exactly. And I think in that order, bring it to Bourbonnais first and start running there. Because you know what? And in addition, you know what? Think of what you're doing to that community. You know what? Think of all the influx of the hotels. Yes. I mean, how many times I got to meet a lot of different writers, who flew in from out of town who don't cover the Bears, but they flew in to Chicago, drove down to Bourbonnais. All right.
That's
And
awesome.
they stay down there. They're there, a couple of days and watching the practices. You want to talk about being able to really write about your team. Like now you're seeing it. Now you're not kind of going what you're here. You're not going off Zoom meetings. You're going off your own eye. Okay.
Exactly.
The eye test is, and to me, that's important because how do you expect to write true, really, really truthful articles when you hear this and you hear that and you hear that? It's so much easier when you're there. You're watching it. Think of all the restaurants that that were affected, all the stores, and it's just a lot of different things, all the people you affect. And someone had the audacity to say, well, it takes a lot of work to pack it up. I'm like, really? You're getting paid phenomenal.
God.
Those equipment managers, you're making $50,000-$60,000 a year.
Exactly.
Dude,
do your job.
Do you realize the water boys? Do you realize that the water boys make $50,000 a year?
No, I didn't.
Water boys make $50,000 a year to squirt water in the motherfucker's mouth.
Do I have to start at the bottom?
Sign me up. Where's it at?
Exactly. Sign us all up.
I got ready.
I'll
Flip
call
it like
plays and do the water.
You good, Tevin? You good, Tevin? You good?
Let me get the left one too.
Khalil, you all good? You okay?
Hey, you know what? Because I'm crazy. I'm 50,000 here. I got two guys. Okay, never mind. That looks wrong. Never mind. That looked wrong. That looked wrong.
That'll be the open of my show next week.
That's going to be on some website I don't want it to be on. Oh shit, that's hilarious.
You guys are the best.
Hey man, thanks a lot, buddy. Great stuff as always, dude. I appreciate it. I'm glad you got the package.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna rock it on Wednesday's show.
Okay.
We got Chris Zorich and David Kaplan next Wednesday.
Okay,
breaking
nice.
it all down.
Very nice.
I'll say what up to Zorich for you. I haven't seen him in years, so it's gonna be fun to see what he thinks about this Bears. I'm going to ask him about the Bourbonnais thing as well. I'm going to play this clip.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw Chris. It wasn't this past summer. It was the summer before. We were at a polo match. Believe it or not, we were at a polo match.
Water polo? Or
no,
horses.
Horses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the Oak Park, the Oak Brook Polo Club, and they had the Prince's Polo Club from England or some shit like that. It was crazy.
Holy
and a buddy of mine is into high end production. He doesn't even call them event. He calls it productions. And he gets like stupid sponsors like Bentley and all these other things.
Oh yeah.
And it's the top notch. And so he invited me and we were there and I saw Chris and I was like, hey Chris, what's up? Because I'd met him a few times. So that was the last time I saw him. Yeah. So it's been about almost 2 years now since I saw him. But yeah, we saw each other at a polo match. What about
and polo?
Yeah, two Southside hanging at a freaking polo match.
What happens in polo? I'm still confused.
It's
like field hockey. What is it,
dude? Well, they're on the horses, dude.
Goal?
Dude, and it's crazy because I'm like you feel the horses running. Like, it scared me a little bit because I was in the out of bounds things like this big. And obviously they're controlled by the riders.
Yeah.
But dude, I felt them coming for the ball one time. I hear I jumped back. I was like, "Holy shit, dude! That's a big ass horse, bro."
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Unbelievable.
That was scary. Hey man, do me a favor. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online, bro.
Follow me on Instagram right there. At Phil_Atoshin, rhymes with lotion. I always tell everybody. And right there, the patron membership with all the X's with the O's. We'll be back next weekend, not this weekend. We're going to enjoy Mother's Day weekend with our wives and fams and mothers and grandmothers. So we'll be back grinding next week. www.thetapeneverlies.com and our YouTube channel, The Tape Never Lies. Just punch that in YouTube, The Tape Never Lies. It'll take you right to our channel where this guy, my boy, Shawn, appears quite often. I love you guys.
I love you, man. I love talking football with you and your pops, man. Tell them I said hi.
I will. We'll have to have you come on. How about I bring you on? We break down the rookie running back with us.
Sounds good.
That'll be
hell
some
yeah.
fun. That'll be some fun.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
All right,
man. We'll be in touch. See you next week.
All right, brother. God bless. Bye, Ivan. Love you, man. That was fun.
Peace, bro.
Leno is gone.
Later. Guys, we just got done. That was Phil Latoshin from the Tape Never Lies Network. And I'll tell you what, that I love that segment with him. We get to talk football at a pretty high level, and it was entertaining. And you know what? I hope he said one thing that was so on point. I really hope the Bears heard that and really reconsider Bourbonnais. They said, oh, we spent X amount of millions of dollars at Hallis Hall, and we want to use it. You use it all goddamn year, dude. You use it all goddamn year. Stop being stupid. Okay, do something for the fans.